There are millions of videos out there telling you how to be more effective and more efficient. We are drowning in apps that can help us achieve more and more and more. There are so many books out there that tell you how to achieve your goal. But what if our purpose in life is not to be more productive? Why do we track all of our to-dos, but do we not track our experiences and adventures with the same precision? Why do we think it's worth it to take the time to tick off a task that says do groceries, but do we not take the time out of our day to write down what our favorite memory of that day or a certain trip was? Hi, my name is Ro. I'm a project manager, content creator, and healthy productivity fanatic, which kind of counterparts what I just said in the intro, doesn't it? But in today's video, I would like to share with you how I track all of my experiences in my life, because I genuinely believe that to be able to live a fulfilling life, you shouldn't only be focused on being more productive. Hence the healthy productivity part. For me, this is basically anything that goes beyond the traditional borders of productivity. So anything that I do in my life that isn't directly related to my career, the side hustle, the grind, etc. I really believe that keeping track of these things in my life actually makes me more aware of all of the amazing things that I'm doing and makes me aware of how lucky I am that I'm doing all of those things, and it helps me appreciate them more. I'm going to walk you through what I track, how I track it, and of course, in the end of the video, show you how you can track it too. Also, at the end of the video, I'm going to share one incredible insight that I had in this entire process of tracking my experiences, so make sure to stick around for that one. So we're going to start by what do I track? What do I put in the bucket, as we can call it, of experiences in my life? I made a little list, so if you'll see me looking at my cheat sheet, that's because I want to make sure that I don't forget anything. But the first and foremost important one is my trips, my travels around the world. I tend to travel multiple times a year, and something that I want to make sure to not forget is the amazing places that I visited, the things that I do on a travel, but also in preparation of the travel, make sure that everything is in one place. The second one is concerts and festivals. I'm a huge fan of going to live music. I actually went to a concert last night of Depeche Mode, and I always have the time of my life at these concerts, and I want to be able to quickly and easily see which artist I've seen live, but also just in general kind of reminisce about all of the concerts that I've been to. The third one is books. I do like to read. I'm a person that kind of reads in waves. Sometimes I read a lot in a very short period of time, and then I don't read anything for quite a while, and then I pick it back up and I get obsessed with reading again. So truly, genuinely a wave reader. But this year is actually the first year that I've set some goals for myself. I want to read at least one book per quarter. And that sounds like not that much because that's only 4 books a year. But for someone who gets like hyper obsessed with reading and then kind of drops it, I want to make sure that my dropping it phase is still 1 book per quarter. And then anything I read extra on top of that is just nice. And that means that I'm in my reading phase of that year. Then I also track my crochet projects. So anything that I want to do, anything that I've already done. And basically this is a great place for me to kind of save all of the resources and all the crocheting patterns I still want to do for quick and easy access, so I can easily see what I'm working on, but also so I can look back at the achievements that I've made, so things that I've crocheted before. Then I track movies and TV shows, and this is something that I actually struggled with a little bit, and I've actually decided to show you the incomplete tracker because I have watched so many good TV shows and so many good movies over the years, and this is genuinely one of those things where I felt like I wish I had tracked it before. I wish I had tracked it sooner, because right now it feels like such an overwhelming task to add all the things I've ever watched to my tracker that I have decided to just add the things that I'm watching right now and add the things that I've watched in like the past year or that I'm currently watching and all of those things. But I've decided not to go back and trace my entire history of things I've watched like I did with my concerts and my trips. There I added everything I've done in my lifetime. However, I might at one point start to slowly add more into the database and into the tracker. But I decided that I also want to show you guys the realistic situation of it is lovely to track all of your experiences, but sometimes it's hard, and that's okay too. And you don't have to do it perfect right from the get-go. So my movies and TV shows database is incomplete, and I'm still going to show it to you guys. And then lastly, I have a category which is kind of like a bucket within the bucket of experiences, which is called events. And events can basically be anything that I go to. It can be going to a film festival. It can be going to like a work event or a conference. And I also use the events place kind of as a bucket for any experience that I feel like don't really fit into any other category. I make an event out of it. So I'm currently participating in a big competition. That is also an event in my event space, if that makes any sense. So now that I've covered the things that I track, let's actually look at how I track them and how I relate them to all of the other things ongoing in my life. Welcome to my experience dashboard in Notion. I want to be fully transparent for the people that either picked up my 2023 template or want to pick up the experience database in the current version, the one that is linked below the video. I am recording this on the 9th of February 2024. This actually looks different. It contains the same databases and the same structure. However, it looks different because this is already part of my 2024 setup. I'm still working on finalizing the full setup and releasing it as a template. So if you see this and you would really like to get started right away, there is a 2023 version of my experience dashboard, which actually includes all of the things that are in this video, but just they look different. If you want this version, please wait a little bit. I will be releasing my 2024 template soon. But I'm going to walk you through the dashboard and what you can see here. On the left-hand side, I have my quick navigation bar, which is something that shows up on every page. It basically allows me to flip between the pages in my Notion, and it also has a couple of quick actions. So basically, any dashboard is everything to the right of this navigation bar. And I start every one of my pages with something like an inspirational quote. And I know it sounds a little bit cliche, but I like it and I think it's cute. And this one is fill your life with experiences, not things. Have things to tell, not stuff to show. And I think this is really something that is integral to me when it comes to tracking my experiences, is that I think in the end, I will be happier as a person having done a lot of things in my life rather than owning a lot of things. I think this might be a generational thing, but I recently heard the term zillennial, so I'm like right in between the millennials and the Gen Zers, so I don't really fit in either category. But something like buying or owning a house for me is just simply not attainable right now as a goal. And that's not because I don't work or I'm lazy, that's simply because the current economy is really, really not in my favor. And I think I've kind of taken this as a hint or a kind of direction in my life that maybe I shouldn't be owning things, and maybe I should just be living my life and building my life as a person with a lot of experiences and cool things that I've done, rather than owning a house or owning a car. And that is also completely fine. And I am thoroughly enjoying it. So this dashboard to me really kind of showcases that part of my life. Any of my dashboards in the 2024 template start off with my goals. And these are my goals that are all related to like my life experiences. So this year, I want to improve to at least 2 of my existing skills. I want to learn 2 new skills. I want to go to at least 10 concerts or festivals or events. I want to travel to at least 5 destinations, and I want to at least read 5 books. So as you can see, that is one more than I had with the goal of like the actual reading goal of 1 per quarter, because I assume that I'll probably read 1 extra somewhere. As you can see, when I open this, you actually get my whole goals template. If you're ever interested in my whole goal setting process, I do have a video on that one already. And there actually is a bundle out which doesn't have the new experience dashboard layout, but it does contain the goals dashboard. It's called the Achiever Bundle. I will update the Achiever Bundle with the new templates once the 2024 template is out. But this actually contains how I do all of my goal setting. And if you are curious about how that works, I'll link a video up in the card and in the description box down below, because I have a whole video about my 2024 goal setting. But as you can see, there's like some specific goals in here. So going to Disneyland, traveling within Europe, all of those things. And if I actually open the entire page, you should be able to see in trips that there is already 2 trips in here that I have actually planned or I'm working on planning. And if you look at my concerts and festivals goals, you can already see that there is 4 festivals or 4 concerts linked to this card already. So these are things that I've already planned. We're actually booking Werchter today, which I'm very, very excited about. So like I said, goals is the main component of every single one of my dashboards to make sure that I just do not forget these. Then below that, I have my upcoming and bucket listed experiences. So this is divided in tabs. So we have my trips, my live music, and my events. Same for the bucket list: trips, live music, and events. And basically these are the 3 main databases fueling this whole dashboard. And like basically any of my experiences. However, like I said, I also track my reading, my watch lists, and my craftings. So I have my crafting corner, my library, and my watch list over here. I'll show you those in a second. But whenever I have a trip, for instance, I'm actually going to London by the end of February. I have a whole dashboard or like a whole template that includes everything I need to know for the trip. So I can see which city I'm going to. I can see that I am staying in this hotel. I'm actually going to an event, which is an award ceremony because I was nominated for a Movember award. I'm going to go to this place for the actual event. And then I can basically see everything that I need to know. So I can see that I'm going to this place. I can see that this is a planned event that I'm going to over here. And I can even add my travel itinerary, which I haven't done yet because I only recently booked. And then I have all of my to-dos that immediately feed from my task list into this list. So this is all of the things that I needed to do to actually get ready for this trip. I have a standard packing list template, which is this is basically just one that I use and then I kind of built from here, but this is based off of a lot of packing lists that I've made over the years. And I like to have this just on the go so I don't have to kind of think over the same things every single time I go to travel. Then, like I said, the main 3 databases that are fueling this is trips, concerts, festivals, and events. So those are over here. I'll show you these in a second. And then I have 3 other databases, which are countries, cities, and locations. So that's basically a list of all the countries. This database contains all of the countries in the world, so that took a long time to set up, but basically they're all in here, and also the continent that they're on. Then I have my cities database, which basically showcases all of the cities that I've been to. So these are all cities that I actually made and then linked to a country. So in a country, you can also see on like a country card all of the cities that I've been to in that place. And then locations, and those are split up into like different categories. So I have cafes, cinemas, event venues, my home, so that's basically my home address, hotels, landmarks, all of those things. And this database will just continue to grow because every time I go on a trip and I go to a specific location, or I go to a specific place, or I go to see a specific landmark, I will add it over here. And I think the best example I can show you was a recent trip that I did when I went to the States. I went to TwitchCon and to Chicago with my boyfriend. And this is a trip that the first one where I fully planned it out using my own Notion template. So you can see I went to the States, I went to Las Vegas, Madison, and Chicago. I visited all of these locations. So I added like a bunch of locations in here that I visited. These were the dates. Actually, it's been 115 days since I went there. The duration of the trip was 12 days and 11 nights. Actually, this trip should definitely be rated 5 stars. I don't know why I didn't rate this trip yet. It says with a partner, but actually I think it was also work related. I just realized because I went there for TwitchCon. As you can see, this was my to-do list for the time. This was my travel itinerary. And then I could see that I had planned places. So these were all the places that I knew I was going to be at for sure. So I have my 2 hotels in the 2 places. We went to the Sphere, which was really cool. If you ever have the opportunity to go here, I can definitely recommend. And then I had the convention center that TwitchCon was held at. And then bucket list places. This was kind of like all of the things that I might want to do when I was there. So actually, I should change some of these. As you can see, I didn't fully update my template since I went here, but I can actually say that I planned a visit to go there. I actually saw the bean, even though it was in construction. I did see it. We didn't go to Oven Grinders. We actually went to another deep dish pizza restaurant. So I still need to add some things. But for instance, the Neon Museum, we didn't go to, and the In-N-Out Burger, I unfortunately did not have the time to go. However, I'm going to go to the West Coast again this year. So hopefully I will finally be able to go to In-N-Out because I really want to try an In-N-Out Burger. But the thing is, these places are in my database now. So if I'm ever deciding, oh, where would I like to go? What are places that I would still like to see? These are places that are in there. And then I can kind of see from there, oh, where would I travel to then? Then my planned events, again, I was going to TwitchCon Vegas. So this also contained my entire planning for those days and what I wanted to do. And then my bucket listed events for this one is empty. But let's say that I'm traveling to, I don't know, the States for 6 weeks. And there's like a couple of concerts or something that I might want to go to. I can basically add all of of these on this card as well. Then I would like to show you the concerts and festivals one, because this is just a really fun database. This is basically all of the concerts and festivals that I've ever been to in my entire life. So as you can see, it also contains like some bigger festivals, which is where I saw a lot of artists. So if I open this one, you can actually see that I saw 14 different artists when I went to ELSWHERE. So that's a pretty cool thing. I really like this one. It just gives me a good overview of what are all the things that I've seen in my life, what are all the concerts that I went to. And it's just one of those things that I love to look back at. And then I also have a dashboard, which is in my resources. So it's like in a different place in my Notion. But basically, this is a database with all of the creators. So this can be artists, content creators, directors, actors, writers, etc. But I have a special tab for musicians. And this is basically all of the bands or artists that I've ever seen perform live. So when you see the full overview of like the concerts, you can kind of see the concerts and the festivals. But obviously on a festival, I see a lot more artists. So here you can see that, for instance, I saw Balthazar in ELSWHERE 2019. I saw Arctic Monkeys on ELSWHERE 2018. So there's like a whole list of all of the artists that I've ever seen live. And there's also artists that I've seen live multiple times. So let me, for instance, quickly sort by artist name so I can more easily find what I'm looking for. So for instance, Depeche Mode, I actually saw 3 times now. So I saw them in 2013, I saw them in 2023, and I saw them last night. So this is, for instance, a really cool example where from the artist page, you can basically see when I've seen them, but you can also go to the concerts page and then kind of see the separated concerts where I've seen them. So that way everything's kind of looped around and linked. But again, I really like to look at this big database and just realize how lucky I am that I've been able to see so many fantastic musicians perform live, because it is such a cool thing to go to live music and to be able to see someone else perform their art. And yeah, it's basically just, this is one of those things why I think it's so cool to register all of your experiences, because that way you can genuinely see how many cool things you've done in your life. And I really like that. And then it's finally time to go to my crafting corner library and watch list. I'm going to start with my crafting corner. This is just, like I said, my little crochet corner. So I'm currently working on a simple halter top. This is a list of the things that I want to make. So these are all patterns that I saved. And I always make sure to add a picture so that whenever I'm ready for a new project, I can literally just quickly see, oh, this looks fun, I want to try this right now. And then finished, there's actually nothing in here yet. I have 2 finished projects, but I haven't had the time to take proper photos of them and actually add them. So I still need to do that. Again, this is a work in progress template, so it is completely fine that I'm showing you a version that is also work in progress, because that kind of also shows that your Notion doesn't have to be perfect to just be able to use it. As you can see, I have 0 finished projects because that project counter is just for this year. Last year, I did in fact finish multiple projects, but as I'm currently still working on my halter top, I haven't finished the project in 2024 yet. Then for my library, again, I did kind of the same as I did with my TV shows and my movies. I decided not to fully backtrack every book I've read because that's virtually impossible, but I kind of just backtracked some of the series that I read recently, and every single time I look over at my bookcase, I'm like, oh yeah, I also read that recently, I'm just gonna add it in here. So this one I definitely want to make sure to kind of grow, because I really like being able to reflect on the books I've read. And most of the books I read I actually own, because I have this deal with myself that I'm allowed to buy a new book whenever I finished my previous one. So that is kind of like that dopamine hit of, ooh, I get to pick a nice new book. But as you can see, I have a very similar layout here. I can count how many books I've read. So this year I've read 1 book. I finished the last one, A Court of Wings and Ruin. I actually read the first 2 parts of the Akatar series last year, and I finished the 3rd part this year. I've added the Fallen series in here because I actually read them recently as well. And also the Traveling Cat Chronicles, because this is my all-time favorite book. I love this book so much. If you're looking for a really cool book to read, make sure that you pick up this one, because it's such a fantastic book, especially if you're a person who has ever owned a cat, then you will love this book for sure. I'm currently reading Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal, and I hope to finish that somewhere this month so that my book counter can already go up to 2 for the first quarter of the year. This is basically where I can tick off my books per quarter. So let's just say that this one I already completed, but that counter could be like 3 out of 1. And all of these books I try to link to my goals, read at least 5 books. So by the end of the year, if I click on this goal, goal, I'll be able to reflect if I've actually done that and which books I've read. On a book page, I add a short summary when I add the book to the template or to the tracker. But whenever I'm done with the book, I'll probably also write a little review or like write something for myself, like my key takeaways, all of those things. And since Feel Good Productivity is kind of like a self-help book, and I'm like kind of putting little markers in the book of things that I want to remember, I can actually add a note that is linked to my notes dashboard or like my notes database in Notion, where I have all of my notes. It's basically my digital notebook, and then I can take notes on this book and I can directly link them to the book page. And then lastly, we have my watch list, which is all of the things that I watched last year. I split them up in movies, TV shows, and YouTube series. I actually recently started watching Hermitcraft season 10, so I still need to add that to my currently watching, but I'm currently watching Outlander. That's kind of on there permanently because I genuinely watch Outlander permanently. I just kind of rewatch episodes every now and then. I just started True Blood. I used to watch this when I was a teenager, and it recently got released on Netflix where I live, so I'm watching True Blood. And I'm watching The Sinner with my partner, although we just finished one of the final seasons, so that actually might have to move to watched. And then one to watch is basically any TV show or series or anything that I want to watch. I would like to give Avatar: The Last Airbender a try, although the reviews I've seen so far are not that great, so this one might actually get removed completely from the list, but we'll see. I'm actually not sure if I would like to keep a list of things that I wanted to watch, but I decided not to because for certain reasons. So again, this template is not completely full yet, but it does contain all of the movies that I watched in like the last quarter of last year, at least. So we finished The Crown in the last quarter. We rewatched a part of Stranger Things. I actually watched a big chunk of New Girl again. We finished the entire season of Hermitcraft. We rewatched all of the Hunger Games movies, including the new one that came out. We went to Past Lives and Asteroid City and Barbie and Selling a Colonial War in the cinema. So this is a template that will only continue, or like a database that will only continue to grow, but it's a pretty cool thing to be able to kind of review on like, oh, what did I actually watch in the past year? So for instance, whenever you're like curious, oh, what did I watch in the past year? You can quickly filter or sort the database by date. And for instance, this movie, we went to it on November 23rd, right after it came out. So this is one of those things where you can just kind of review of like, oh, what was the first time that I saw that movie or something? And it just kind of hopefully counters the endless consumption of content without thinking about it, but being a little bit more conscious about what I watch and what I read and what I do for my arts and crafts, so that by the end of the year, also if I've like watched 0 movies, read 0 books, and done 0 crocheting projects, I can wonder to myself, but those are things that I enjoy. Why did I not do them at all? And that's also why I have goals for them. And I think this dashboard, it might be a simple one in Notion. I know that I have like a bunch of linked databases and stuff, so that will be part of my full Notion tour as well. But it is just one of those things that really helps me stay grounded in my life of, I don't have to always be on my hamster wheel of being more productive, but I also get to go here and just sit down and be like, okay, but what are the concerts that I want to go to? And what are the books that I want to read? And all of those fun things. And then, like I promised, at the end of the video, I would share with you one really important realization that I had when making this video or preparing this whole experience database. And that is actually how much effort it took me to fill my databases. Like I mentioned, I didn't backtrack which movies and TV shows I watched. I didn't backtrack all of the books I read. I want to do that, very much so, but the realization of not being able to recollect the amazing books that I've read or the really good TV show that I watched, it was such a weird experience to realize. I am at that point in my life. I'm only 28, where I have done things that I genuinely have no recollection of unless I see the cover of the TV show or hold the book in my hands and I'll be like, oh yeah, I read this. I completely forgot about it. And I think that is exactly why I want to track things, because I want to be able to look back in 4 years and realize, oh, remember when we saw that movie Past Lives? That was such a good movie. And these were the things that I experienced while I was watching the movie, or like these were the emotions that it evoked, because those are things that I will genuinely not remember if I don't write them down. And I really hope to live a long and fulfilling life. I hope to become an old person. And I also hope that when I'm an old person, I have something to look back at. And I'm not a person that likes journaling. I'm not a person that likes to write really long essays in a beautiful notebook or diary that people can read in 50 years. this is my diary. This is my way of journaling and documenting my life so that whenever I'm older, I can look back at it and I can be like, oh, damn, I did all of those things and those were so cool and I love that. So like I said, I would also close the video with how you can start tracking your things. So there are a couple of options for this one. You can either decide to do it in your own version. Like I said, this can be in a bullet journal, this can be in a diary, this can be in a Notion template, this can be in any other note-taking app that you're already using, and you can simply build it yourself. You can figure out what are the things that I want to track, how do I want to write them down. Maybe you're already kind of doing it, you're writing like little book reviews and all you need to do is bundle them in one place with the other things that you're doing, but basically you can start tracking today. You don't have to have any fancy tools for this. All you need to do is start collecting your memories in one place. If you do like my setup and you do think, oh, I would love to use Notion for this, but I'm not really ready to build my entire system, I do sell my Notion templates. Like I said, the 2023 version of just the experience dashboard is available as a standalone template in the description box down below. I linked to my Gumroad, which is the website where I sell all of my templates. If you want the version that also has the goals and the tasks and everything linked to it, then you can pick up the Achiever bundle, which is a bundle containing 4 templates, which will still look like the 2023 template. It already contains the whole goal system. So if you're like a goal setter and you want to link your experiences to goals, I would highly recommend picking up the Achiever bundle. If you want to pick up my full Notion setup and you're like, wow, I want all of the dashboards and everything including it, then wait for a little bit until I release my 2024 Notion template tour. If you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to this channel because I will be releasing it very soon. And I also have a bunch more exciting videos coming out in the coming weeks. So make sure that you don't miss them by also hitting that notification bell. And if you liked this video and it was helpful to you and it was inspiring for you to also start tracking your experiences, feel free to hit that like button and leave a comment down below of which experience you're going to track in 2024. And with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching and I will see you on the next one. Bye everyone.